Welcome to the True Report Connection. This is Tommy, and this is the video that you've all been waiting for, Monday Night Raw Report. Well, happy birthday to former WWE and All Japan Tag Team Champion Rico, turned 52. Ring of Honor co-founder Rob Feinstein turned 43. Former WWE Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel turned 36. One-time TNA X Division and TV Champion Robbie E turned 32. One-time AWA Tag Team Champion Hector Guerrero turned 61. And even myself had a birthday October 1st. All these birthdays are on October 1st. Also, former TNA personality Letitia Klein turned 37. I turned 47. Would have been the birthday of former NWA president Bob Geigel, 91. Geigel passed away on October 30th, 2014. Birthdays on October 2nd to three-time CMLL middleweight champion and former WCW wrestler El Dandy turned 53. Also would have been the birthday of two-time WWF champion Yokozuna, would have been 49. Famed Texas wrestling promoter Paul Bosch would have been 103. And two-time IWA Tag Team Champion Waldo Von Erich would have been 82. On October 3rd, birthdays, WWE and TNA talent Mikey Batts, 32. WWE Hall of Famer Bullet Bob Armstrong, 76. Two-time WWE Tag Team Champion Danny Basham, 38. Three-time WWE Intercontinental Champion John Morrison turned 36. Two-time AWA Southern Heavyweight Champion Daryl Man Mountain Rock Peterson turned 54. And former WWE personality Mike Adamle turned 66. Birthdays on the 4th. Happy birthday to TNA Grand Slam Champion Abyss, turned 42. Two-time NWA United States Tag Team Champion Bobby Fulton turned 55. One-time AAA Campeón de Campeones Heavy Metal turned 45. And former Ring of Honor and GHC Tag Champion Naruki Doi turned 35, and former WWE CEO Linda McMahon turned 67. And October the 5th, happy birthday to former WWF WWE diva Terry Runnels, 49. Former TNA X Division Champion Zema Ion turned 29. And two-time NWA World Light Heavyweight Champion El Faradon turned 68. And Memoriam, the wrestling world lost two personalities on this date. Firstly, in 1997, former WCW and NWA World Tag Team Champion Brian Pillman died at the age of 35. Also, Antonio Pena died on this date. Looks like WWE United States Champion John Cena will be taking some time off very soon. Unknown when. Cena is no longer advertised for the post-Hell in a Cell Raw from San Diego, October 26th. That weekend's WWE Live events or the following week's Raw from Denver on November the 2nd. Cena will be doing overseas with WWE for the European tour that kicks off, but not scheduled for the WWE Raw tapings on November 16th or 23rd. Chris Jericho celebrated this past Saturday, live event from Madison Square Garden for his 25th anniversary of his pro wrestling debut. His first match took place on October 2nd, 1990, in a 10-minute draw against Lance Storm from Ponoka, Alberta. Jericho is bringing several longtime friends, co-workers to the show, including Lance Storm, Don Callis, and Lynn Olsen. Rosa Mendez announced on Twitter that she is the new WWE correspondent for SmackDown. While her job description wasn't really explained, it appears as though she'll be some kind of backstage interviewer, likely for .com and YouTube exclusive videos. She posted herself mostly on the Facebook page WWE has as at La Rosa Mendez comments. the new at WWE.com correspondent for SmackDown, me, and it's also posted on Instagram. Carmella apparently got hurt at a NXT live event in Nashville, Tennessee in her match against Eva Marie. In the closing moments of the bout, Carmella took a bump on the back of her head after taking a knee from Eva. Eva got the pin, and the match was stopped. The referee threw the X sign up and motioned for the doctor, Chris Amon, who was present. Carmella was crying as she left the ring. Eva was met with "Please retire" chants. Lana supporting some new jewelry. Look closely at her finger in a picture posting. I thought she was already married. And I guess it's just storyline. Former WWE stars wrestle again Saturday, October 24th in Rahway, New Jersey. At Real Morrison versus The Real RVD. Tickets available at ProWrestlingSyndicate.com. Daniel Bryan reveals what he will do if WWE doesn't clear him soon. At the link. Hashtag WWE, hashtag Daniel Bryan. WWE stars enjoying time playing together, rock band. Find out who all joined action. You decide who can sing or not. Okay, yeah, I'll post that link for you there. It's twitter.com/Mr. Pope /media. Bray Wyatt suffered some bad cuts to his head during a no DQ match against Roman Reigns at Saturday's WWE live event in Bangor, Maine. The cuts were a result of being struck with a kendo stick. Trainers had to tape Wyatt up before he went on to lose the match. Dolph Ziggler isn't the only WWE superstar starring in the WWE Studios' upcoming 642 thriller. In the video, Kane reveals that he also is in the movie, which would explain why he was written off TV at the same time Dolph was. WWE has posted details on the plot. Ray Fitzpatrick, that's Dolph Ziggler's character, is a tough-as-nails narcotics cop working the beat in Los Angeles. After a drug bust goes wrong, Ray is forced to shoot his own partner, leading to a suspension from the police force. Before you know it, Ray is dragged right back into the thick of it when a mysterious package arrives at the station addressed to him. The package leads Ray and his colleagues to an encrypted website where an unidentified kidnapper broadcasts a threat to Ray and the entire police force. The kidnapper, it turns out, is holding a young boy hostage, and unless the police department can come up with a $2 million ransom, he'll set off a time bomb strapped to the child's chest. The department, led by Lieutenant Cronin, that's Kane's character, comes up with a payoff, and Ray is tasked as the bagman. When the handover goes down, Ray is forced to shoot and kill the kidnapper before he can set off the bomb and kill the child. With 6 hours and 42 minutes left before the timed explosive detonates, Ray and an internal affairs agent, Julia Baker, who's portrayed by Catherine Isabella from See No Evil 2, race against time to find the now deceased kidnapper's hidden lair and save the child before it's too late. Cody Rhodes was asked during an interview with the Pittsburgh Tribune on why, following the death of his father, Dusty Rhodes, he didn't return as himself. It would have been tacky, and it wouldn't have been genuine. Many years ago, I used to watch Raw with my dad, and he watched Nitro. And we watched the pay-per-views. Many years ago, there was a wrestler who passed away, and his name was used pretty regularly after that on programming. People were using it to try and draw the adulation of fans. Everyone was saying, "Oh, well, such and such who passed away would have loved this." And Dusty told me, and this is something very few people know. When I go, Don't ever let anybody say that about me. I left my body of work on the table already, and it doesn't need to be expanded. And I never forget that, so there was never any question on who was coming back. Paul Heyman's Heyman Hustle channel has posted the behind-the-scenes footage from the WWE Network Madison Square Garden special with Brock Lesnar and others. Check the view. WWE Tag Team Champion Kofi Kingston says his high school wrestling coach will be in the crowd for Raw from Boston. He tweeted the following and teased that he will answer John Cena's United States Title Open Challenge at True Kofi. Hashtag US Open Challenge is on again tonight, and my high school wrestling coach is in the crowd. Maybe we'll win another championship in his presence. The show opened with a video package hyping tonight's live event, featuring the return of Brock Lesnar to Madison Square Garden as a face-off against the Big Show. There's also a bit of time spent on Cena and Rollins for the U.S. Championship inside a steel cage. There's no pyro, and I believe Byron Saxton welcomes us to the show. And that's the live event on the network. The Sheamus music hits, and the Irishman makes his way out to the ring to a pretty decent reaction from the crowd. Sheamus is carrying his Money in the Bank briefcase as he makes his way down the aisle. There's a different announce team, normal as Rich Brennan is joined by Byron Saxton and JBL. Tag team match, Rusev and Sheamus versus Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler. Rusev was the next man to make his way out, of course, accompanied by Summer Rae. Dolph Ziggler is the first man out for his team, and the show-off gets a pretty great pop from the New York fans. Randy Orton is the final man out for this match, and the Viper also gets a great reaction. Hopefully these fans continue to stay hot throughout the night. The bell rings, no one gets out of the ring. No one gets out of the ring immediately as both teams stare each other down. Looks like Sheamus and Orton would kick things off. Sheamus attacks Orton in the corner, punching and kicking him before hitting him with an uppercut. Sheamus sent Orton across the ring, and Orton responds with a clothesline before mounting him in the corner for a series of punches. Sheamus then pushes Orton off, then eats a drop kick. Sheamus tags out to Rusev, but Orton waves off the tag from Ziggler. Rusev backs Orton in the corner and punches him furiously before being backed off by the ref. Orton pokes Rusev in the eye, then tags out to Ziggler, who comes in with a big drop kick. Ziggler hits a squash in the corner and follows up with a neckbreaker, then a leaping elbow drop for a 1 count. Ziggler then knocks Sheamus from the apron with a super kick. Then a slam to the mat by Rusev. Sheamus tags back into the match and stands over Ziggler before picking him up and dumping him to the mat with a huge suplex. Sheamus clamps on a rear chin lock and grinds Ziggler into the mat. Ziggler refuses to quit, making his way to his feet and breaks the hold. But Sheamus waves off the drop kick and hits a huge clothesline. Rusev tags back in and stomps at Ziggler before hitting a headbutt. Rusev locks in a claw on Ziggler's shoulder. Ziggler stands up and breaks the hold with a series of punches. But Rusev blocks a drop kick, launching Ziggler into the turnbuckle with a slingshot before picking him up and slamming him back to the mat. Sheamus tags in for some more taunts. And Orton taunts Orton while standing over Ziggler. Ziggler strains for the tag, but Sheamus picks him back up to the mat and stomps away before tagging Rusev back in. Rusev yells at Ziggler's face before picking him up to his feet. Ziggler tries to fight back, scoring with a couple of punches and a kick to the knee. But when Ziggler tried to leap over Rusev caught him and planted his face into the top turnbuckle. Rusev slams Ziggler to the mat once more before tagging Sheamus back in. Sheamus tries for a slam, but Ziggler drops to his feet and slams Sheamus to the mat. Rusev tags in, and Ziggler slips out of another slam attempt and slams Rusev's head to the mat. Both men make tags, and Orton hits Sheamus with a couple of big clotheslines and a snap power slam. Sheamus goes to the apron, and Orton brings him back in with a suspension DDT to a lot of love from the crowd. That's the draping DDT, by the way. Orton drops to the mat, and when he stands, he tosses Rusev to the apron. Ziggler knocks Rusev off the apron with a super kick, but Orton is distracted, and he turns around into a clothesline from Sheamus. Sheamus tries for a road kick, but misses. Ziggler hits Sheamus with a super kick, and Orton follows with an RKO. Orton then pins Sheamus for the 1-2-3. After the match, Rusev grabs the mic and tells Sheamus he's a stupid non-American. He ruined this whole match. He could have beaten him himself. Sheamus is useless, even more than Lana. Rusev tells Sheamus to go back, pack his suitcase, and leave. Sheamus starts to exit the ring and makes his way back in. And when Rusev turns his back, Rusev starts to run down Lana, but Sheamus hits him with a brogue kick first. Sheamus asks for his briefcase, then grabs the mic. Sheamus tells Rusev to kiss his arse. Okay. Announcer sent it back with a video package to recap performance review segment from Raw featuring Seth Rollins and Kane. Renee Young is standing backstage with Kane in non-demon mode. She asks how Kane's leg is. Kane says his leg feels good. It's hard to get around on crutches, but he looks at and challenges like this as an opportunity for personal growth. He came here tonight for one reason only, Seth Rollins. He's got an opportunity to win the U.S. Championship back tonight against John Cena, and he wouldn't miss the opportunity to see it. He said Rollins was nervous when he saw Kane earlier, but if Kane sees the demon lurking anywhere around Madison Square Garden, he'll send him packing. Singles match, Stardust versus Neville. Stardust made his way out to a bit of lackluster reaction from the Madison Square Garden crowd. Neville was up next to make his way out, and he too gets a pretty subdued reaction from the fans, but it's a bit louder than Stardust. The bell rings and both men circle each other for a bit before locking up. Stardust goes right for a headlock, but Neville pushes him away. Stardust knocks Neville to the mat, does a cartwheel, and dances for the crowd. Stardust and Neville trade positions for a bit before Stardust knocks Neville back down to the mat. Neville blocks a kick, sweeps the leg, and does a cartwheel and dances again. Neville avoids Stardust in the corner and flips across the ring before hitting a splash from the second rope and following with a quick turn from Stardust. Backdrops Neville to the apron and knocks him down with a beautiful disaster kick before stopping away at Neville. Cody drops and grabs Neville's cape, and he's rolled up for a 2 count. Neville stands and is immediately dropped with a huge clothesline. Stardust go for the pin, but it only gets a 2 count. Stardust clamps on a rear chin lock, but Neville fights to his feet. Stardust pulls him back to the mat and stomps away at him before leaning down and punching Neville in the face. Stardust buries his knees in Neville's back and goes right into another rear chin lock. Neville fights up once more and breaks the hold. He eats a flying forearm to the face. Stardust pulls Neville to his face, to his feet, and Neville begins fighting back, stunning Stardust with a chin breaker. Stardust stops Neville and drops to the outside, teasing and wrapping his leg around the ring post, but Neville pulls back in and sends Stardust face first into the post. Stardust makes it back into the ring, but Neville ducks a springboard splash and scores with a series of kicks, including one to the side of Stardust's head that sends him scurrying to the outside. Neville heads to the apron and scores with a kick to the chest and a springboard moonsault. Neville sends Stardust back into the ring and goes up to the top, but Stardust stood up, stopped him. Neville headed back into the ring, but he's slammed to the mat hard. Stardust goes for the cape once more, putting it on this time. Stardust heads up top and leads off into a shot to the gut from Neville. Neville kicks Stardust in the chin, then heads to the top rope where he hits the red arrow for the 3 count. Backstage, Renee Young standing alongside Paul Heyman. Heyman says that that's not how she does it. Heyman introduces himself and says on behalf of all the homegrown New Yorkers, he wants to welcome everyone to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Heyman says if you can catch your breath here, you really don't belong because this place is special. Heyman is surprised that Big Show has the guts to walk into the Garden like the Boston Celtics, except his home team won't be on the defense tonight. His home team, the Beast, will be on offense. Because tonight, live at Madison Square Garden on the WWE Network, it's City Hall for Suplex City. Big Show has a wonderful time leading up to this match. But tonight, it's Eat, Sleep, Conquer, Repeat, thanks to Brock Lesnar. We get a recap of the Divas action from Monday Night Raw. That's all Paige attacking Natalya and betraying Charlotte and Becky. 6 Diva Tag Team match. Well, always the video sets up the match. Team Bella versus Paige, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. Team Bella made their way out for their team, and they get a bit of reaction out of the crowd, which actually seems to be bigger reaction than either Neville or Stardust got in the previous match. Paige was out next to a little bit of heat. Becky Lynch was out next to a pretty good pop from the fans, and she's followed by the Divas Champion Charlotte, who gets her fair woos from the crowd. Bell rings, and it looks like we got Becky and Alicia starting things off. We get a lock up, and Alicia tosses Becky across the ring. Another lock up, and Becky tosses Alicia again. Becky scores with a quick heel kick and slams Alicia to the mat before hitting a series of quick leg drops. Paige makes a blind tag and hits a quick knee to Fox's face before tossing her into the corner for a running knee. Paige continues the assault with knees to the face before sending Alicia across the ring and kicking her in the face for a 2 count. Paige tags Becky back in the match and before hits a couple of uppercuts, but Alicia is able to turn things around and tag in Brie. Brie comes in and kicks Becky, but Becky catches a second kick and hits an exploder suplex that sends Brie to the floor. Becky chases Brie and mows down Alicia on the floor, but Brie makes the tag and Nikki attacks Becky from behind. Alicia tags in, and she and Nikki hit a double suplex, but it's only good for a 2 count before Alicia starts stretching Becky's arms. Alicia picks Becky up and slams her back to the mat before tagging in Brie, who comes in with a flying clothesline. Brie hits Becky with a series of elbows to the shoulder and then locks in a modified rear chin lock. Becky fights up to her feet but can't make the tag as she's thrown into the ropes. Brie hits Becky with a running knee to the face. That's only good for a 2 count. Nikki tags in and snaps Becky's face before tossing Charlotte from the apron. Becky scores a quick roll-up before tagging out to Charlotte. Charlotte hits Nikki with a couple of quick chops, a neck breaker, and a spear. Charlotte sets up for the figure 8, but Paige tags herself in, and she and Charlotte argue for a bit. Paige turns around into a big clothesline for Nikki, who tags Brie back in. Brie goes for a quick pin, getting a 2 count. Brie takes Paige into the corner before tagging out to Alicia. Alicia hits a nice Northern Light suplex, bridging into a pin for a 2 count. Alicia follows it up with a rear chin lock. Alicia then tosses Paige back into the corner and tags in Nikki, who wipes Paige out with a rear elbow. That's good for a near fall. Nikki traps Paige in another near chin lock. Then rolls her into a front face lock. Paige fights up to her feet. Nikki breaks a hold. Paige scores with a kick to the chest, and both women hit clotheslines at the same time. Paige calls for the corner, but both Becky and Charlotte drop from the apron and refuse the tag. Paige is grabbed from behind by Nikki, who hits the rack attack for the 3 count. Nikki gives Becky and Charlotte a thumbs up as they walk to the back. Charlotte and Becky make their way slowly up the aisle, staring Paige down on their way backstage. Paige grabs the mic and says she can't believe her teammates would do that to her. Duh. That they would leave her high and dry like that. Well, didn't she do that last week? Well, she's their best friend. Paige says that she would never do anything to her teammates like that. She doesn't know whether she can forgive Charlotte and Becky. Paige drops the mic and makes her way to the back. Then we get a recap of Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns from Raw and their confrontation on SmackDown, leading to their Hell in a Cell match later on this month in the form of a video package. In a Continental title match, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. Jericho makes his way out first, getting a huge pop from the fans. Jericho's got a mic and he welcomes the crowd to Madison Square Garden. Is Jericho. He says this is also his 25th anniversary of Jericho in his business. Tonight is October 3rd, 1990 in Alberta, Canada, the Moose Hall in front of 50 people. Against Sandstorm, who's in the crowd tonight. They did a 10-minute Broadway draw, and now it's the most famous arena in the world in New York City. It makes so much sense because he remembers being 3 years old and watching his dad, Ted Irving, play with the New York Rangers. Now here he is, all these years later, in front of some of his oldest friends in the business. Jericho points out some of his other wrestler friends sitting in the crowd, and says the fans are some of the greatest in the world. A big Y2J chant starts for the crowd. Jericho says, "Thanks for letting him live this amazing dream," and tonight he's got this chance to become the Intercontinental Champion for the 10th time. Either way, he's going out to the streets and having a great time tonight. And all those fans will never, ever be the same again. As he says, Kevin Owens makes his way out next, and the champion gets a pretty great reaction. But Jericho is a hard act to follow. The bell rings and both men circle each other before Owens attacks Jericho in the corner, hitting him with forearms and kicks. Owens hits ropes and runs into a big drop kick from Jericho. Owens drops out to the apron. Jericho hits him with a springboard drop kick that sends him to the floor. Jericho follows to the outside where he slams Owens' head into the announcer table before sending Owens back into the ring. Owens catches Jericho with a kick to the chest and a running knee to the side of the head on his way back into the ring. Owens screams at Jericho and stomps away at him before punching him and kneeing him in the side of the head once more. Jericho fought back with a couple of quick chops, but misses a drop kick and eats a quick running senton from Owens. That's good for a near fall for a 2 count. Owens claps on a rear chinlock and talks trash to Jericho. Jericho fights to his feet and out of the hole, but Owens catches him with a forearm. Jericho responds with a kick to the chest and a couple of chops. Owens tosses Jericho out to the apron, and Jericho scurries up the top rope quickly, coming off with a double X handle. Jericho goes for the wall to Jericho, but Owens fights it off. Jericho nails an insecurity, but can't keep Owens down for the 3 count. Jericho kicks at Owens in the corner, hitting a big forearm before leading in with a huge chop. Owens reverses a whip into the corner, but Jericho leaps over Owens. Owens responds with a giant clothesline. That's good for a near fall. Owens tosses Jericho into the ropes, but misses with a top rope powerbomb. With a pop-up powerbomb, Owens counters the code breaker, hits a package sit-out powerbomb, and that's good for another 2 count. Owens runs right into a big chop from Jericho, then is planted face first on the mat. Owens gets his knees up to block the Lion's Salt, then hits a running cannonball in the corner. Owens heads to the top rope and comes off with a swanton, but Jericho got his knees up. Jericho is able to turn Owens over and lock in the walls Jericho, but Owens makes it to the ropes and break the hold. Owens avoids a charging Jericho in the corner and sends his shoulder first into the ring post before rolling him up for a 2 count. Jericho hits a code breaker out of nowhere, but is slow to make the cover. Owens grabs the rope at 2 to break the pin. Jericho hits Owens with a series of right hands to the face before kicking at his ribs. Owens stands and hits a super kick out of nowhere before sending Jericho into the ropes. Jericho counters the pop-up powerbomb with a Hurricane Rana, but Owens rolls through for a pin. Jericho kicked out, but gets poked in the eye and wrapped up in a small package for the 3 count. Winner Steel Champion Kevin Owens. Big Show is back. The show backstage, getting himself psyched up for his match later. But it's not long before we look to head back into the arena We get a nice little video package that shows the recent events they have led to the New Day putting their tag team titles on the line against the Dudley Boys tonight. New Day without first make their way out into the arena. Of course, they've got something to say on their way to the ring. Big E says that this is the final night of the Dudley Boys Goodbye Forever tour. Kobe says that since their return, you've seen all their greatest hits. Bubba shoving Devon for no reason. But you've also seen the random TV references from the 90s. And what's up? Big E says these 9-time champions, these legends, have shown a different side, a non-sensical side, like wearing glasses with no lenses. Wood says that they've also shown a despicable side. Big E says, look at Woods, a quiet, humble, and introverted man. Wood says that they put him through a table. Kobe says, for shame, not only did they bring pain and suffering onto this perfect human being, they also brought pain and suffering onto a perfectly crafted table. Big E and Woods repeatedly shout shame. As Woods says tonight, New Day saves the table. They try to get a save the table chant started, but are interrupted by the Dudley's music. Dudley Boys make their way to a pretty nice reaction from the crowd. Bell rings and it looks like Kofi and Devon starting it off, while Woods toots on a trombone. Devon takes Kofi to the mat, but Kofi makes it to his feet and gets put right into a headlock. Kofi pushes Devon off, but falls to a shoulder block. Devon sends Kofi into the ropes and ducks a clothesline, coming back with a rear elbow. Big E tags in and falls to a flying shoulder block from Devon before Bubba tags in. We get a double shoulder block, a double elbow drop from the Dudleys. Big E comes back with a headlock, but Bubba takes him over with a belly-to-back suplex. Kofi tags in and throws it across the ring with a hip toss. Devon tags in and we get some double team work for the Dudleys. That includes a big boot from Bubba and a splash from Devon. Devon works over Kofi for a bit before tagging right back out to Bubba. Classic Team 3D. Dudley Boys. Kofi rakes Bubba's eyes, then tags in Big E. Big E slams Bubba to the mat and dances for a bit, but Bubba comes back, slamming Big E to the mat. Devon hits the top rope, but he's pushed off by Woods. The distraction allows Big E to score a clothesline to Bubba. New Day quick tags who stomp away on Bubba repeatedly. Kofi hits a seated Bubba with a drop kick into a corner, then picks him up for a series of knees to the chest. Bubba tries to fight back, but Big E tags in and kicks Bubba in the chest before running down with a series of clubbing blows and locking in a rear chair lock. Bubba fights up to his feet and out of the hole. Bubba runs into a big back elbow from Big E, which is good for a 2 count. Big E tries for a big splash, but Bubba rolls out of the way. Both men take tags. Devon takes it to Kofi with a series of elbows and forearms before hitting a flying shoulder block. Devon knocks both Big E and Woods off the apron, then stops Kofi from leaping out of the corner. Devon stops Big E, but with a clothesline, and the Dudleys connect with a 3D on Kofi. Woods breaks up the pin. It looks like this one ends in a disqualification. Winners by DQ, Dudley Boys. Following the match, the New Day team, the Dudleys for a bit before bringing a table into the ring. Kofi grabs the mic and announces that they're still the tag team champions. Woods plays a little bit of taps before Big E shoulders Devon. Bubba tossed Kofi over the top rope, and Devon tossed Big E from the ring. Woods tries to bail, but he's stopped by a clothesline from Bubba. Bubba and Devon hit Woods with a 3D and leave him laying while the crowd cheers. Jon Stewart is shown watching the crowd before they begin hyping Brock Lesnar's return to Madison Square Garden, set to take place next. We get a video package highlighting some of the history between the two men, beginning with their match at Survivor Series 2002, where Big Show won the WWE Championship from Lesnar. We also get the further highlights, like Lesnar and Show causing the ring to fall apart on SmackDown in 2003, and Lesnar destroying the Show with a steel chair at the Royal Rumble in 2014. So Big Show was out first to make his way to the ring, yelling that he's not going to Suplex City on his way down to the ring. Brock Lesnar was out next, accompanied by his handler, Paul Heyman. The Beast gets a great reaction on his way to the arena. Bell rings and Lesnar charges right in with a couple of big clotheslines, but Show just shrugs him off. Lesnar goes for the legs, but Show picks up Lesnar and dumps him over the top rope to the outside. Lesnar just smiles and laughs it off. Lesnar heads back into the ring, and we get a stare down while the crowd chants Suplex City. Lesnar charges in again and goes for the Show's legs, but Show punches Lesnar in the gut before tossing him into the corner. Show whips Lesnar across the ring and charges in with a shoulder of his own. Lesnar avoids a second charge in the corner and buries his shoulder in Show's midsection a couple of times, but Show is able to fight off the German suplex attempt. Show hits Lesnar with 3 choke slams in succession, but Lesnar kicks out at 2. Show then tries for the WMD, but Lesnar ducks it and hits a gigantic German suplex, then a second, and Show is just bouncing off the mat. Lesnar awaits for Show to stand, and nails a third German suplex. Lesnar nails Show with a shoulder, but he can't keep him. He can't keep him down. And Show throws him down to the mat. Lesnar hits a 4th German suplex, and the crowd seems completely stunned. Lesnar waits for Show to stand, and he shoulders Show again, hitting the F5 this time. This one's over quick as Lesnar gets the 3 count. Lesnar quickly makes his way to the back. Show just lies on the mat recovering. As Show makes his way out of the ring, Lesnar marches back down towards the ring. Show sees him coming, makes his way back into the ring, flipping Lesnar off. Lesnar smiles and leaps back onto up the apron. Lesnar heads back into the ring and Show is staggered. Lesnar grabs Show around the waist and launches him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Crowd wants one more, so Lesnar shoulder Show again. Hits him, nails the F5 again. Show is incredibly slow to make it back up to his feet, using the ropes to help him stand up. The cage is showed lowering to the ring, and the announcers throw it to a video package highlighting some of the history between Seth Rollins and John Cena beginning at SummerSlam, when Rollins took the U.S. title from Cena, and continued last month at Night of Champions with Cena winning the title back from Rollins. Seth was out first to make his way to the ring, and then as the World Heavyweight Champion holds his title high and smiles as he struts his stuff down the aisle, getting a pretty nice pop for the New York City fans. John Cena was out next for his match and gets a mixed reaction from the crowd, while quite a few singing about him sucking along to his music. Bell ring and Cena and Rollins seem to soak in the crowd reactions for a bit before locking up. We get a clean break before both men go for another lockup. Cena goes behind and clamps Rollins in a headlock. Cena takes Rollins over and down to the mat. Rollins fights back up to his feet, but Cena pulls him back down to the mat. Rollins fights up once more and outwardly holds, slamming Cena's face into the cage wall. Rollins stomps on Cena before sending him into the cage once more. Rollins scores with a quick right hand, peppering Cena with a couple of more before hitting a running forearm in the corner. Rollins pins Cena for a 2 count and calls the door to be open, but Cena stops him from leaving. Connects with a combination of lefts and rights before being stopped by a kick to the face from Rollins. Rollins begins to climb the cage, but Cena stops him. The two stand on the top rope, and Cena hits a big headbutt before bulldogging Rollins to the mat from the top rope for a 2 count. Cena begins climbing the cage himself, but Rollins stops him with a big right hand. And while the two stand on the top rope now, Rollins goes for a leaping knee off the top rope, but doesn't really connect with anything other than Cena's forearm, even though Cena dropped to the mat and stayed down for a 2 count. Rollins begins to climb once more, but stops and attacks Cena when he sees Cena going for the door. Rollins waits for Cena to stand. He needs a drop kick to the chest. Once Cena does make it to his feet, Cena began to climb the cage. But Cena pulled him up. Rollins began to climb the cage, but Cena pulled him out with an electric chair. Sit out. Let's go for a 2 count. Cena hit up to the top rope, but Rollins stopped something cold. Rollins heads to the top again and kicks away at Cena before trying to climb. Cena fights back and slams Rollins' face into the cage, causing him to fall to the mat. When Rollins stands, he leaps off, but Rollins counters into a sit-out powerbomb. That's good for a 2 count. Rollins kicks Cena up to his feet and throws him face first in the cage again before posing for the crowd. Rollins plays for the crowd for a bit, then picks up Cena. He goes to toss Cena into the cage again, but Cena counters and tosses Rollins face first into the wall. Cena hits a couple of flying shoulder blocks and a belly back suplex before going for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Rollins kicks Cena in the shoulder. Rollins crawls for the door, but Cena stops him. Cena pulls Rollins' leg, but Rollins holds onto the ropes and ends up landing on his feet before kicking Cena in the side of the head. Rollins pins Cena, but only gets a 2 count. Rollins pulls himself to his feet, using the ropes for leverage. Rollins calls for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Cena kicks Rollins in the shoulder. He hits a belly back suplex and a 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena shoulders Rollins, but Rollins grabs onto the cage wall. Rollins leaps off the top rope with a flying knee, but Cena catches him and counters into the STF. Rollins crawls for the door and tries to pull himself out of the ring, choking Cena on the bottom rope. Rollins crawls out of the door, but Cena pulls him back in. Both men trade crawling for the door and pulling the other end for a bit before Rollins slams the cage door on Cena's head, scoring another near fall from that. Rollins picks Cena up to his feet and goes for the pedigree, but Cena counters, slingshotting Rollins into the corner. Rollins lands on the middle rope and immediately climbs up the top of the cage. Cena stopped him, grabbing him by his hair and slamming him face first into the cage. Cena climbs up to the top of the cage, but Rollins stomps and brings him back in, hitting a superplex, rolling right through into a sit-out suplex. That's good for a 2 count. Rollins makes it to his feet and begins to climb once more, making it to the top of the cage. Cena is up quickly and grabs Rollins by the hair to bring him back in. Rollins and Cena both straddle the cage and trade right hands. Rollins sends Cena back into the ring, but Cena pulls Rollins in as well. Cena sends Rollins off the top rope, but leaps off with a tornado DDT. That's good for a 2 count. Cena hits for the door. Rollins leaps to the top of the cage and kicks the cage door into Cena's face. Rollins begins to climb down, but Cena pulls Rollins back into the ring, shouldering him and going for the attitude adjustment. Rollins lands on his feet and hits a super kick to a kneeling Cena, but it's only good for a 2 count. Rollins then grabs Cena, but Cena goes right to the STF once more. Rollins is in the center of the ring and he tries to fight off, finally reversing it into an STF of his own. Cena stands with Rollins on the shoulders, and Rollins drops down and hits a low blow on Cena. Rollins begins to climb the cage again, making it to the top easily. Rollins looks down to the mat, but he's stopped as shows music, as Kane's music hits, and the big red machine makes his way down to the ringside area. Rollins climbs down the cage, but Kane comes over and keeps Rollins on the top of the cage since Rollins is too afraid to come down. Rollins stands up on the top of the cage and leaps off with a frog splash, but Cena rolls out of the way, nails the attitude adjustment, and pins Rollins for the 3 count. Still U.S. champion John Cena. Cena makes his way to the back with the title over his shoulder. And Rollins lies on the mat with his title. Kane makes his way into the ring and slams the cage door shut behind him. So we get an impromptu match momentarily. Rollins begs off in the corner, but Kane grabs him around the throat. Rollins tries to fight it off and goes for the door. Kane stops him and nails him with a choke slam. Kane draws his thumb across the throat and shoulders Rollins, hitting a tombstone power driver. The show ends with Kane holding the World Heavyweight Championship belt high and then laying it across Rollins' waist before making his exit out of the cage. Okay. And that was the end of that one. Xaviar Woods did commentary for Superstars with Rich Brennan. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman was announced for Thursday's SmackDown. Cesaro versus Adam Rose. Primetime players versus the Ascension. Cesaro defeated Adam Rose. Primetime players have defeated the Ascension. Big surprise for this week's Raw pre-show ended up being a cool new set. And I'll show a photo of it. As host of the show, Scott Stafford, Corey Graves, and David Otunga. Raw opens with a look back at Kane, says Rollins and Ashley from Human Resources from last week's show. Live from the TD Garden in Boston with Michael Colesaw, JBL, and Byron Saxon. And as the pyro goes off and welcomes us to Raw, they announce the Dudleys versus Big Show and Seth Rollins for later in the evening. We go to the ring. Out comes Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman to a big pop. They hit the ring. We see highlights from the win over Big Show at Madison Square Garden from Saturday night. Suplex City breaks out. Chant. Lesnar soaks it all in and laughs. Heyman introduces himself and calls Lesnar the Slayer of the Giant, the Conqueror of the Streak, and the Beast of Boston. Heyman says all focus now goes to Hell and The Undertaker. Heyman hypes the Hell in a Cell match, saying it's a fight Taker cannot win. Heyman shows us video from WrestleMania 30. Heyman says Taker spent 1 week in the hospital and a week on the shelf after that. Goes on and on and on and shows us highlights from the match at SummerSlam. Heyman says Lesnar never had to use a low blow on Taker. Heyman says Lesnar will tell Steve Austin this straight to his face on his October 19th podcast, but Hell in a Cell will be the very last time ever that Lesnar will fight Taker. He says one of them will walk out as the winner of their war, but the other will not walk out of the cell at all. Heyman says that's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Heyman goes on and is interrupted by Big Show. Show enters the ring and stares Lesnar down as the fans boo. Lesnar leans against the ropes and is relaxed. Show admits Lesnar took him to Suplex City at Madison Square Garden. Show says he was so close to wiping the grin off Lesnar's face. Show says he's the bigger man, so he will call it like it is. Brock is the man, the best among the boys. Show extends his hand for a shake, but Lesnar just shrugs him and walks right at him. Walks around, starts to exit the ring. Show says he hopes Lesnar loses to The Undertaker again. Lesnar stops and comes back in the ring. Lesnar ducks a knockout punch and nails a belly suplex. Lesnar scoops Show up for the F5 and nails it. Lesnar smiled before making his exit as his music hits. Seth Rollins backstage with Stephanie McMahon. He says we have to call off tonight's tag match because Big Show was his partner. Stephanie tells him to figure it out. Says he's the man. Rollins isn't happy as he walks off. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose versus the Wyatt family was advertised. We go to the ring. Out comes Roman Reigns through the crowd. Back from the break, Randy Orton's wrapping up his entrance. Ambrose was out next. Wyatt makes his way out with Braun Strowman and Luke Harper next. Harper starts off with Reigns, but Reigns wants Wyatt. Harper and Reigns lock up. Reigns goes after Wyatt, but jumps off the apron. Reigns goes out after him and fights off Harper as well. Reigns brings Wyatt in the ring, but Strowman takes him to the corner. Reigns rocks Braun with a right hand. Ambrose drop kicks Braun, but he's still standing. Orton pokes Braun in the eyes and drop kicks him, but he's still on his feet. They team up to drive him out of the ring. They take Harper out next. Reigns, Orton, and Ambrose stand tall in the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial. Ambrose is rolling Harper up for a 2 count. Harper goes to the floor for a breather. Ambrose lays flat in the ring and just waits on Harper to come back in. Harper is weary and comes in to get rolled up for a 2 count. Harper ends up in the corner. And in comes Orton for some double teaming. Orton starts stomping on Harper. Ambrose comes back in with kicks in the corner. Harper with a cheap shot and an attack to Strowman. Ambrose knocks him off the apron and leaps out, but Strowman catches him and slams Ambrose onto the floor. Strowman sends Ambrose into the barrier and brings him back in the ring. Strowman with another big scoop slam. Wyatt tags in, splashes Ambrose in the corner for a 2 count. And they go back and forth as Strowman screams at Ambrose to get up as he knocked him down. Back from as they go to commercial. Wyatt levels Ambrose with a big clothesline. Ambrose rolls out on the way to avoid a senton. Braun tags in and stops Ambrose from tagging. Braun charges in the corner, but Ambrose moves and he hits the ring post. Orton tags in and goes out, as does Harper. Orton unloads and hits the power slam. Orton with a second rope draping DDT. Wyatt distracts the referee while Braun pulls Orton to the floor. Braun slams Orton into the announce table and rolls him in. Reigns tags in before they could capitalize and knock Wyatt off the apron with a Superman punch. He takes out Harper and goes after Wyatt on the floor. Braun pulls Reigns off of Wyatt by his head. Ambrose dives out and nails Braun. Reigns with a Superman punch on Braun, but he's still standing. Ambrose leaps on to Braun's back, and they tumble over the barrier. Harper brings Reigns back in the ring. Reigns catches him in a powerbomb. Wyatt hits Reigns from behind, allowing Harper to nail a super kick for a 2 count. Orton breaks the pin. Orton blocks this job again, but Wyatt blocks the RKO and retreats from the ring. Orton nails the RKO on Harper. Wyatt looks on from the ramp as Reigns spears Harper for the win. After match to celebrate, go to replays. Reigns takes the mic and says he will be the one to end their war inside Hell in a Cell. Still to come, Cena Open Challenge. Neville versus Sheamus. Not much of this match. Sheamus takes the mic. You look stupid chant from the crowd. Yada, yada, yada. Neville comes in. Sheamus says he's a winner and raises his briefcase up, calling himself a future World Heavyweight Champion. He asks Neville what it's like to be a loser and goes on until Neville unloads on him. Referee backs him off and bell rings. Neville goes back to unloading on Sheamus in the corner. Referee has to pull him back. Neville gets distracted as Wade Barrett gets up from commentary. And Sheamus nails a brogue kick out of nowhere for the win. We see Corporate Kane walking backstage. A commercial. Kane's in the ring. He's wearing a boot on his ankle. Blames it on what Seth Rollins did last week. He says if he had a 7-foot demon chasing him around, he'd be desperate too. Kane points out how Rollins is desperate for a partner. Tonight, after a Big Show got taken out, Kane says he will be in Rollins' partner. Rollins comes to protest. He said that's not how it works. Rollins enters the ring and says Kane is no Tom Brady, which gets a pop. Rollins says that they both have deflated balls, and that gets boos. Rollins says Kane cannot lie and swindle his way into getting what he wants because life doesn't work that way for people like Kane. Rollins says Kane is not teaming with him tonight, and he's never playing into the mind games. Kane goes on about his job is to bring out the best in Rollins, but Rollins says he doesn't need the help. Kane wants to make Rollins proud of him, of the man he sees in the mirror. They go on, and Stephanie's music hits. She's heard enough. She announces Demon Kane versus Rollins for the title of Hell in a Cell. If Demon Kane loses, Corporate Kane is relieved of his duties. Corporate Kane is also put in the tag match later in the evening. We go to commercial. As Rollins is backstage complaining to Triple H about what just happened. And Triple H gives him some advice as he walks off. Natalya versus Paige. Natalya won the match. As Natalya caught a kick and locked in the sharpshooter. This time for the win. Ryback's rematch against Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens on SmackDown. And how it ended in a count out. We go to a vignette from Ryback where he said actions speak louder than words. Ryback says he's getting closer to taking back what his and ripping Owens to shreds. Ryback says it's time. It's feeding time. Kevin Owens versus Sakara. Owens talks trash to Kalisto, calling him a 12-year-old. Kalisto tries to get a lucha chant going, but it doesn't catch on. Owens keeps control of Sakara, but turns around right after another. Talking trash to Kalisto again. Kara makes a comeback and rolls Owens up for a 2 count. Well, Kara with a kick and a springboard, but Owens kicks him in midair, and then Owens nails the pop-up powerbomb for the win. After the match, Owens poses with the title and then attacks Kalisto, knocking him out of the ring. Goes to powerbomb him on the apron, but Ryback's music hits and Owens retreats to the crowd. Stephanie backstage talking on her phone when New Day comes in. She says she's busy. Yada, yada, yada. Still to come, Corporate Kane and Rollins versus the Dudleys. Back to commercial. Let's go to the end of the match. Dudley's won by disqualification as the Devon took advantage of the distraction and rolls Rollins up for a 2 count. Devon blocked the pedigree with a backdrop. Rollins misses splash to the corner. Bubba tagged in, unloaded on Rollins while talking trash to him. Bubba slammed Rollins and held his legs down while Devon goes up for a headbutt. They go under the ring for a table, but before they can bring it in, Rollins drop kicks the table into both of them for the disqualification. Team Bad versus Team Bella. Team Bad won as the finish. The crowd was chanting, "We want more Lana, and we want Sasha." Team Bella continued to dominate. Brie kicks as fans chant, "Yes," with her. Alicia comes in, keeps Naomi grounded. Sasha finally gets a tag and unloaded on Team Bella for a pop. Sasha with a big knee into Fox in the corner for a 2 count. As Brie broke it up, Tamina nailed Brie with a super kick. Nikki took out Tamina. Naomi with a rear view on Nikki. And Alicia hits Naomi. Sasha ends up getting a win with a bank statement on Fox. Renee was backstage with Becky and Charlotte. Charlotte says, "Hell is her chance to prove she earned her title, and it wasn't luck." She said the Diva title is right where it belongs. Woos! At the end of that segment. Cena's U.S. Open Challenge was later on. Summer Rae in the ring. We kept rumors of Summer is over. Well, that led to a proposal. A wedding proposal, not much of that. Big E versus John Cena, finally, as your U.S. Open Challenge. Winner of the match, John Cena. After Bell, Kofi, and Woods immediately rushed the ring and they beat Cena down. Ziggler's music hits. He runs out to make saves. Ziggler accidentally super kicks Cena. Whatever that's, it's setting up their storyline segment for later on this year, laying him out. Big E runs over Ziggler with a clothesline. Ziggler gets beat down. Dudley's run down to go at it with a New Day. Kofi saves Woods from a 3D, and now the Dudleys get beat down. New Day stands tall after destroying Ziggler, Cena, and the Dudleys. They leave with Woods playing trombone. We see Babyface starting to recover as Raw goes off the air. And I did not get did not see any reports for the dark match main event. So I guess there wasn't one. So that ends my report for this week. See what I want to be. By the way, if you don't know, you better call me a row. Peace.